All right, let's get right into it. Today, we're looking at something pretty incredible, a system that maps the human psychological journey of starting a business directly onto a super advanced tech architecture. This is the whole idea behind the RPG of Life incubator from Cloud Underground. So, what we're doing here is really twofold. First, we're going to explore this idea of the founder's journey, which is all built around this powerful quote you see here. And then we're going to get under the hood and really unpack the machine that powers the whole thing, a piece of tech called the Underground Nexus. And it's this duality that really makes the whole program stand out. It's a system that's laser focused on two things at the exact same time: building that tough as nails psychological resilience you absolutely need as a founder, and also helping you master the modern cloud engineering skills to actually build and scale your minimum viable product. Okay, so let's start with the human side of things, the journey itself. The whole program frames this as an RPG of life, basically promising to help you turn that idea in your head into a real-world thing through a mix of cool resources and some seriously structured mentorship. And you might be surprised who this is for. It's actually a super broad range of people. You've got seasoned founders looking for better tools. You've got solo builders just trying to get an MVP off the ground, and even folks just looking for some side income. The whole point is to empower you to write your own story, whether that's a consultancy, a software product, or even just a simple online shop. The entire philosophy is really built on efficiency and, well, personal freedom. It's all summed up right here in this mantra. And that whole RPG structure, it's not just for fun. It's designed to give you the discipline needed to actually achieve that freedom. So how do you actually level up your mindset? Well, it all goes down inside a really structured 16-week mentorship program. And let me tell you, it demands commitment from day one. And this roadmap really lays out the journey perfectly. Week 1, that's the psychological lock-in. You read Automate Boring Things, and you have to decide then and there, are you in or are you out? Because after that, there are no refunds. Then by week 4, the focus shifts entirely to building what they call a mindset of steel. Why? Because the program knows that for a solo builder, self-doubt is the real vision killer. So here's the payoff. This mindset training completely changes the game when, not if, but when, your code inevitably breaks. A technical failure goes from being this catastrophic, I should just quit kind of setback, into just a simple version control problem. It's just a bug to fix, not a sign that your whole idea is garbage. That's huge. All right, now for the tech. Let's talk about the engine. The Underground Nexus is basically the ultimate crafting station for any modern entrepreneur. It's a hyper-converged data center and a software factory all rolled into one really powerful platform. Now, hyper-converged might sound like a crazy buzzword, but the idea is actually pretty simple. It just means it combines all the different parts, compute, storage, and networking, into one unified system. Think of it like this. You're turning a whole rack of specialized different computers into one single integrated supermachine. It just gets rid of a ton of complexity. But the real secret sauce here is something they call the super root. It's basically a containerized kernel that creates a layer between the software and your actual hardware. And what this does is give you this incredible flexibility, letting you start with whatever random computers you already have lying around and then scale up later without a massive upfront investment. But honestly, the biggest breakthrough is how this kernel is managed. They call it the Git BIOS because they treat the entire operating system like it's just application code in a Git repository. I mean, think about that. A total system failure is no longer a catastrophe. You just roll back a Git commit. It's absolutely revolutionary. And it's secure right out of the box. The Nexus comes pre-configured with tools that big companies pay a fortune for. You get a SIEM. Think of that as the ultimate historian logging every single thing that happens. Then you get an XDR, which is like an active bodyguard, constantly analyzing those logs to stop threats. It even has DNS filtering built in to block bad websites before a connection is ever even made. It's like having a whole security team in a box. So if you're going to build on a platform this powerful, you have to speak the language of modern automation. And the source material really hammers home 4 key pillars that you absolutely positively need to master. First up is infrastructure as code, or IAC. All this means is you manage your entire environment with code. Think of it like a digital recipe for your whole setup. And the benefits are massive. You get perfect consistency every time. It's super efficient, and you can track every change to your entire infrastructure. Next, we've got containers and orchestration. Tools like Docker are amazing. They package up your app and all its little dependencies so it can run anywhere. But what happens when you have hundreds of those containers? You need an orchestra conductor, and that, my friends, is Kubernetes. It automates all the deployment and scaling, which is how one person's idea can become a global application. Pillar 3 is DevSecOps. This is all about what they call the shift left philosophy. It just means you build security in from the very beginning of a project instead of trying to bolt it on at the end like a checklist item. You're making security a continuous part of the whole process, which is way cheaper and, frankly, way safer than finding a huge flaw right before you launch. And finally, we have zero trust security. The principle here is really simple. Never trust, always verify. No user, no application is trusted by default. Every single request to access something has to be rigorously authenticated. This is absolutely crucial for a founder who might be running their entire business from a coffee shop Wi-Fi network. So, after all that, what does learning this stuff actually mean for your career? Let's talk about the ultimate reward, because mastering these skills translates directly into some of the most in-demand, highest-paying jobs in tech today. I mean, just look at this list. The skill set you build on the Nexus platform prepares you for all of these amazing roles. Whether you're talking about a Kubernetes administrator or a site reliability engineer, the common thread is mastering efficiency, reliability, and scale, and it's all driven by automation. But it's not just about your own solo career growth. The vision here is really cooperative. Members are encouraged to act as one company. The idea is that people will help each other, consult with each other, even pay each other for contributions. It creates this awesome, self-sustaining ecosystem for learning and growing together. Which, of course, brings us to a really big final question. If all this core stuff, infrastructure, orchestration, security, is becoming more and more automated by platforms like this, if the kernel itself is version controlled and security is just baked in, does the entire role of the IT administrator just fundamentally change? Does their focus shift completely away from being a hands-on fixer to becoming more of a systems architect, someone who just defines the strategy, the optimization, the next feature? In other words, does automation shift the job from managing the how to defining the what? That's a great question to think about. Thanks so much for joining us for this one.